All right. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Thank you to the 17th edition of Success Spotlight, I believe, which, of course, is generally accompanied by a guest, which we will continue again in the month of July, which I'll have everything put together for you all here later today so you can begin registering for that. But today we're going to talk through how Ideal Traits, primarily myself and our team, works through our hiring process when we're looking to find good qualified people. So it came at the perfect time because on June 2nd, I did have 4 new people that started on that Monday. So we'll talk a little bit more about the process for Ideal Traits, how it works, and how you can incorporate, the same tools that we use because they're the same tools that you have access to, just maybe aren't taking full advantage of. So throughout the next, 30 to 45 minutes, I will go through Ideal Traits' process and how it works. We're going to focus specifically on salespeople today, since that's what we did hire. So we had 3 salespeople start and 1 client experience intern. So we'll talk through the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, all of the different things that had happened during that process and have, of course, happened since too as well. So as you're most likely familiar with, my name is Nolan Duda. I'm the client experience manager for Ideal Traits. So I am responsible for overseeing our sales, support, marketing, retention, and education departments. Education, of course, falls under this umbrella, something like Success Spotlight, as well as the assessment workshops that we do. I'll talk a little bit more about those too as well as we go on, because looking back at past Success Spotlights that have been done from agents that have talked about their process, and if you need some help with the assessment workshop is going to be really great for you to check out. Last month, or sorry, here in the month of June, we talked about more of those service related personalities that are a little bit more relationship focused. Back in May, we talked about those top performing personalities that we typically find in sales roles. And then for our first assessment workshop, we sort of just talked about the assessment in general, how to interpret it and how to get the most out of it. But, of course, if you need additional help with this, that is what, myself and our team are here to help you with. So a couple of things I did talk about, how we hired and who we hired. So Ideal Traits, we're always looking for good people. I think it's important to start with that. I have a job ad up pretty much 365 days a year for at least salespeople. The reason we do that is because, if I can find somebody that's going to be a good addition to Ideal Traits from both a position standpoint as well as a culture standpoint, then I'm going to do it. And I think that it's important to have that job ad out there, to always be looking. And the team knows that too as well. I mean, we practice what we preach. We advise to agents on a daily basis to always be looking for good qualified people, to be passively recruiting, to always be looking. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we make that process easy for us and for me, because you'll see in a second when I show it. But I think when we hired these 3 salespeople that we found, there was probably a total of like 500 to 600 applications that had come in. So I'll work through and how the job ads get created and sort of how we put the compensation together, all the benefits and all that good stuff. But something right off of the top. So we did hire 3 salespeople and then 1 intern. So the Mason, who is our client experience intern, came through a connection that we have with a college that's here in Michigan. So Northwood University is where Mason is a student. He plays baseball there and he is interested in sales. So through a connection that we have with Northwood, they provided us with some students that were interested in having an internship for the summer. And through that, we were able to find Mason. We interviewed a couple of different interns, or a couple of different students, if you will, and we landed with Mason being the option for us. So he's currently going through training now, and then we'll progress into being more of a telemarketer for us, where his main responsibility will be to call a lead list and then to distribute the interested parties to our full-time sales representatives. Now, that's a little bit about Mason and sort of his day-to-day responsibility. If you guys have questions sort of on how we found or the connection with the college, I mean, I think it starts by just reaching out to them, talking to them a little bit about your business and sort of what the students can do. And then I promise you, their advisors, their faculty, they want these students to have good internships that they can learn things at. And in my opinion, there is nothing better than a small business, right? So a lot of you fall into that category. So reach out to those universities. It can be a community college. It can be, a 4-year institution with an undergraduate degree. there are a lot of students out there who are really, really eager to learn and are eager to put in a good summer for you, right? Or maybe even a good semester or two, right? If they're working in the fall or in the spring. So again, that's how we found Mason. He's going to be more of a telemarketer for us, sort of getting his feet wet in the business realm and learning a lot of different things. So moving on from there, we did hire 3 full-time remote sales representatives. The IdealTraits staff is fully remote. So we have really 4 people that work in our office where I'm at today on a daily basis. Todd, who is our COO, Jeremy, who is the president, and then Kevin, who of course is the CEO. Those 3 are the co-founders. Folks, if you've been around the IdealTraits realm for a while, you probably have heard of them, most commonly Kevin, but Jeremy and Todd, of course, too, as well. And then myself. So the 4 of us work in office on a daily basis. The other 30 to 35 employees that we have work remotely. So they live in all different parts of the country. This has been a difference maker for me, that's for sure, because we've been able to pull talent from all different parts of the country with all different types of perspective. And to be honest, I most likely have been able to find some people that are overqualified for the position that I have because they want to work remotely, right? So oftentimes it's talked about to where it's like it can be more affordable to find remote employees. Whether that's true or not, I have been able to get in front of overqualified talent that are open to our role because they want to work from remote or they want to work remotely full time. So, again, that has been a huge difference maker for us. It gets us in front of a lot of applicants. It gets us into a lot of unqualified candidates, that's for sure. But it also gets us in front of some qualified ones and really some overqualified people too, as well, which is a good thing, right? Because they want to mix it up and work remotely and want to have that flexibility. We provide them with that, which is incredibly attractive to them. So outside of that, again, back to the point. So we hired 3 full-time sales representatives that started on June 2nd. Okay. Monday, June 2nd. On June 3rd, I had lost one of them already. Okay. So that's just the harsh reality, right? Hired 3, had 4. So the intern with Mason, and then 3 full-time sales representatives. On June 2nd, I had 4 people. On June 3rd, I had 3. And that's just how it works, right? And I'm not upset about it. The representative that had to step away was for a personal reason that he couldn't control, and neither could I, right? So at that point, we had a civil adult conversation about where he's at. And unfortunately, right now, with things that are happening in his personal life, starting an opportunity with us, he felt as if he wasn't going to be able to give us 100% of his attention, his time, and his effort. So he thought the best thing for him to do would be to resign. Now, I know that this isn't the story for all of you. Sometimes you'll hire someone and you'll have to fire them on day 2. Sometimes that's the reality of the world that, within hiring that we live in, right? So I know we've had past Success Spotlight guests talk about hiring in multiples or quick to hire or slow to hire, quick to fire. Those things are all true in my opinion, right? So making sure that you're protecting yourself and making sure that you're putting yourself in a position to where you're not just hiring one person, that you're putting all of your eggs into that one person's basket. Because we see that all too often too as well. Because if I had just hired one person and that would have happened, I would have had to start the whole process all over again. And of course, I continually go through the process as it's one of my main job responsibilities. But it would have really set us back if it would have been him being the only person, him having to step away. It would have derailed the whole thing. But fortunately enough, I have 2 really great, really qualified salespeople that are going through the training process with me now. And then I also have Mason, who is going to help us out as an intern too as well. So that's sort of setting the stage. It happens to us. It happens to you. People, unfortunately, when you're working with them, there is no guarantee. So you need to make sure that you have a contingency plan in place. For us, the contingency plan is I really don't ever just hire one person. I won't ever force to make a hire, right? But I'll hire in groups. So I'll give myself 60 days to be able to hire a class of 2 to 3 to 4 people that will start on a specific day all together, all in the same class. I feel as if that boosts camaraderie between them and it lowers the chance of turnover, because if it's just me and them, maybe they feel as if they're kind of lagging behind, or they don't feel as if there's anyone that really understands where they're at and their certain point of their process. So Again, contingency plan, hiring groups. You don't necessarily have to hire 5 people at a time or 6 people. If it's two, great, right? And if one of them doesn't work out, that's okay because you have one that will, and they're going to be great. And it's important to invest into them as much as you can. Something I'll talk more about too as well. But if you have questions or anything, feel free to use the Q&A tab. When I do share my screen, I'm unable to see the Q&A. I'm unable to see any of that stuff. So as I go through it, if you do have questions, ask them in there, and then I will get to them once I come back to you all, once I finish sharing my screen. But what I'm going to do is actually show you my Ideal Traits account or Ideal Traits' Ideal Traits account. So then you can see what the process looks like. We'll take a look at the past job ads, take a look at the process and how the account just looks like in total. So then you're able to see how we go about it. So let me see here. All right, there we go. All right, so you all should be able to see my Ideal Traits screen now, complete hiring solution for insurance agencies, as we know. So logging into our account, of course, we get launched into the main candidate screen. I'm going to come back to this at some point, but at first I want to focus on the job section and show you guys sort of where we're at now. So as I mentioned, I do always have a job ad posted. I do always have it up. We just posted it on Monday. It's received 33 applications in about a day and a half, 2 days, if you call it that. And, I'm sure there's some qualified folks that have come in through at this point too, as well. I'm going to take a look at the archive section too, as well, because as you can see, we give a lot of client demos through this account, or at least I do. So I do have some past job ads. I posted this one on May 8th. Received 173 applications through about, I think, the 2 or 3 weeks that I had it posted. And then in addition to that too, as well, the main one that we had up was posted originally on April 11th, and it received 433 applications for about the month that it was up. So as I mentioned before, I give myself about 60 days to be able to hire a group of people. Depending on the position that you're hiring for, you may need more time or you may need less. I give myself 60 days. I've sort of seen that as like the perfect little mix because I posted on April 11th. I have 4 people that start on June 2nd, right? So again, remote gives us a lot of flexibility here. If you're hiring an in-office position, it's reasonable to assume that it's going to take longer. But again, for us, remote, I mean, again, 433 and 173, so about 600 applications or over 600 applications. Yeah, sorry, over 600 applications between the two job ads in that about month and a half of time led me to be able to find 2 people to start June 2nd. Okay. This is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, yeah, let me go back here. I'll just reopen this job ad. So this is what it looks like. It's nothing crazy. It's pretty simple. It's pretty concise. A lot of the same feedback that we offer to you all is the same feedback that we have ourselves. Within the job overview, so the job description, we talk a little bit about the position. We talk about sort of where we're at as a company and what we're looking for and where we're located, right? So it's concise. It's 4 to 5 sentences. It's not overly crazy. But again, we're posting a remote job ad, so you can oftentimes get away with some of these things. Salary range, I'll talk a little bit more about how I put together the salary for us. I don't recommend a salary range of more than 20 to 30,000. And of course, this falls into that 30. So I'll talk about sort of where this range comes from and how I was able to put this together. And then with the benefits, you can see that this really dominates the job ad. It's the longest set of really anything on the job ad, and it includes a lot of different things. So, we do have 401k. We do offer a bunch of different insurance plans. Our opportunities at Ideal Traits for our salespeople do have a base salary plus commission plus bonuses opportunity. So they do receive a base salary, they receive commission, and then I did create a bonus structure for them that is now intact. That is a milestone-based bonus structure. So as they hit certain milestones throughout the year, there are certain bonuses that are attributed to that milestone. So it is not only a bonus structure that really supplements like good hard work in a quarter, but it also is a bonus structure that supplements consistency throughout a year, right? So I can talk a little bit more about that and how I kind of put that together. But again, a lot of different stuff in here. Ideal Traits, as you guys know, is open 8:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. Some of our people work on the weekends. They get their evenings to themselves. depending on where they're located in the country. Some of them are leaving work at 2:30 and have the whole afternoon and evening to that to do whatever they need to do. And personally, I have a pretty strict policy when it comes to that, to where out of our sales representatives, what I'm expecting from them on a daily basis is I need 8 hours of effort from you. 8:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time is what I expect. Anything outside of that, you have to yourself, right? Because I don't want somebody who's going to work 8:30 to 7, because then they're just going to show up the next day and they're going to be more tired than they were the day before, and they're going to be less productive, and then they're going to burn out quicker, right? So 8:30 to 5:30 is my standard. That's what I ask from you. I ask for your effort and for your time and to give me everything you got for that 8 hours. And then you can trust and you can know that I'm not going to ask for anything else from you beyond that. Right. So what comes with that is their daily expectation, as well as just good performance in general, right? So I can go over what our daily expectation is for our sales representatives, but if they hit their daily expectation, if they're doing their work, and the results in terms of the numbers show that, then great. Then almost good and well. Then you should go enjoy your evening, because truly, the evenings and the weekends are why people show up to work. Like, they want to go and they play golf, or maybe they go to the restaurant with friends, or maybe they go see their family on the weekends. Like, that's why they come to work every day, is to be able to afford to do those things. So I want them to be able to come to work, get what they need to do done, and then to be able to move on to the things that, that they want to get paid to do, right? Which is to go hang out with their friends, their family, or maybe do some things independently, whatever that looks like. But the job ed is pretty simple. The requirements and the responsibilities are there. A lot of the things with the requirements are a plus for us. So software sales experience is a plus. I've hired good people that have software sales experience. I've hired bad people that have software sales experience. I've hired great people that have never sold anything in their life. I've hired bad people that have never sold anything in their life. So it's a plus. I don't necessarily factor in experience as something that is like a make or break for the position, but it is nice to see, as I mentioned at the beginning, we've been able to hire people that are overqualified. So it is great when it happens, and especially when they work out. It's just no guarantee that they will. Remote experience is a plus. I would say that this might even be more important than the software sales experience. Working remotely just simply isn't for everyone. I don't do it because it's not for me. I feel as if I'm not as productive, or I'm not as focused in working from home. I suppose, get distracted easily, which is probably something I need to work on. But remote isn't for everybody. So I've hired people that just aren't able to hold themselves accountable in a remote environment, and it is sad, right? Because working remotely is convenient for a lot of people, but it's just, some people just can't do it. They just don't have the personality to function within it, or the self accountability to do it. So then at that point, those signs are pretty easy. You can see them lacking on sort of their daily expectation, or you can't really ever tell if they're active. It takes a long time for them to reply in the community or the company provided communication devices, whatever that may look like. For us, it's Google, but for you, it might look like Slack or Microsoft Teams, whatever it may be. So again, those things are pluses. I don't necessarily require them. And again, it just helps us get in front of more candidates. And a lot of the other things are very, just simple, right? A confident and driven attitude, like strong problem solving skills, proactive approach to building and nurturing client relationships. Like, we want someone who wants to interact with you all and build a relationship with you all and nurture that and be there to help you when you need it, right? All these different things. And then in terms of responsibilities, it just details a lot of the stuff that I'll probably go over a little bit later, but pretty self-explanatory. For IdealTraits, we provide a software to businesses across the country. So it's just very quickly detailing sort of what the position will look like in that sense. But as you can see, it's fully remote. It is a full-time role. It is in sales. And then the location for us, of course, is in Lake Orion. So that's what the job ad looks like. Go through the process of creating it. If I go back and I guess start a new job ad, I mean, I use the artificial intelligence pretty religiously. Faith in the virtual hiring assistant department helps me a ton with the hiring process. So if I said that I just handled this all by myself, I would frankly just be lying to you. So again, Faith helps tremendously. Like, the virtual hiring assistant team is huge. You can see obviously at the top, like, we're enrolled in the program. It looks like I'm all caught up on tasks, which is good. But Faith and her team do create the job ad for us. But I do know that Trevor does a fantastic job of making sure that he hits on all the important things that are part to IdealTraits. But if you're not on the virtual hiring assistant team, I would, if you're in a package with the artificial intelligence, I would use that. But if you package that doesn't have it, then using the templates is a really good way for you to do it. Or if I was to give you some recommendations off the cuff, I mean, you can use ChatGPT or any other type of artificial intelligence that's out there that can probably create a job ad way better than you or I can, right? Because again, we don't have our jobs or our businesses because we're experts at creating job ads. Like it's not something that we do regularly. It's not something that we're experts at. So why would we expect to be very good at it, right? So use the resources around you, the AI in the system, ChatGPT if you need to, or of course, the templates that are available within the system, or of course, always schedule a call with our team if you need help. They're experts at what they do. So feel free to use them as a resource to be able to help you out. But creating a job ad, it becomes very easy with that part of the process. And we do also provide custom job ads too. So if you just wanted to take yourself out of it altogether and you're not on the virtual hiring assistant team, reach out to us about custom job ads. Our team would be happy to create them for you too as well. But again, creating a job ad is pretty simple. When you're in the remote setting, you just get a bunch of applies. Some of you are experiencing this, some of you are not. But if you haven't taken that leap yet, I mean, through IdealTraits, you can have up to 5 different job ads posted at a time. I think is the minimum, no matter what package you're in. So all of you at least have 5. Post a job ad for a remote insurance sales representative or remote this or that. See the response that you get. You do not have to hire any of those people, but then this can help open you up to seeing what's out there and sort of maybe taking a leap in that sense. But again, reach out to us if you need some help with that. I know that it's scary. I know that it's hard, but could be a really good thing for you. I do usually ask pre-qualifying questions. One of the pre-qualifying questions that I do love is going to be the one about availability, and it's going to be about your preferred contact method. So this is my hands down favorite pre-qualifying question because when they submit their application, they're going to answer this question and they are going to tell me how they want to be communicated with. Is it an email? Is it text? Or is it phone? Do I need to pick up the phone and call you? Are you okay with a text message? Do you prefer to be emailed? They're going to tell me. So then I know that I can tailor my approach for this particular person around what they have said. So there's a lot of good pre-qualifying questions in there. Again, I don't necessarily put like a whole lot of importance on experience. I know some of you may be in a different boat. So there are pre-qualifying questions in there with licensing, experience, education, these types of things. But I'm just looking for a good human being, right? So that's really my first step is let me see your resume. How do you prefer to be communicated with? Let's start there. And then I get the ball rolling and I see obviously more that comes from it at that point. But hopefully that answers your question or answers any questions that you have towards pre-qualifying questions. I don't ask a bunch of questions, but I do love this one that I just showed because it allows you to then tailor your approach for that candidate around them. And then if they're like, why are you texting me? It's because you told me that you prefer to be texted, right? And then you can hold them accountable to that too if you need to, if you ever run into an issue. But sponsorship in terms of the job ad, not current. We don't currently sponsor our job ads. I do think that it is an important thing to do and it always is going to put you in a better position. But as you guys have just seen, for the 2 job ads that I posted for the 4 people that I hired, I received over 600 applications. So sponsorship really wasn't necessary for us at that point. If you're not receiving enough applications, then try remote. And then if you're not open to remote, then try sponsoring. I mean, this is a very easy thing for you to be able to do. For the job ad, I mean, look at this. I mean, with a budget of $4, jobs like yours can expect to receive 38 applications in 30 days. So for Indeed, the minimum budget is going to be $50 a month. So you do have to do 50 at least, because if you do the 4, it won't let you. So you have to do custom and then do 50. But then, it allows you to be able to get in front of candidates faster. You can either do this for 30 days or 15. You can set a reoccurring campaign if you want to as well, if you just want to continually do it month over month. So Indeed's a really great source for you to be able to do this, or you can use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is great too. We've done this before. It's gotten us in front of a lot of applicants when we needed it. It's a flat rate of $2.99 for 30 days. If you're not getting enough applications, it's something to look at. But again, Indeed is a good one. And let me find this article for you all here real quick too. So if you haven't created an Indeed account before, so Brandy put together this article, but if you haven't created an Indeed account before, so this would be a total new experience for you. you can receive $100 credit towards your, that you can use towards a job. So if you're like, I'm not getting enough applications, I've never sponsored, I don't know what to do next, reach out to us. Our team can help you walk through the steps that are necessary for you to be eligible for this promotion. But when you create an Indeed account for the first time, you'll get a $100 credit in your IdealTraits account that you can then use towards sponsorship. So this is huge, right? Because a lot of you are willing, kind of waiting to take that first step. It's a really good thing for you to do. Again, Brandy's the one who put together this article. She's our client support team lead. And I would reach out to our team because they all know about this credit and they're all going to be well versed in telling you how to take advantage of it. So if you haven't done that yet, take advantage of it. But a really good way for you to be able to sponsor. Social media, I do share the job ads on my personal social media pages typically, depending on how many applications we receive, like after a week or so. I do think it's an important thing to do every time. So it's very easy for me to be able to do it. I can simply share it on Facebook. I'm already logged into my Facebook. As you can see, here I am. Here's my job ad, and I can easily share it there. And then my network is able to apply from it and share it, which they really do a good job of. Luckily, I have a good support system around me that is willing to, share IdealTraits' stuff. And when I'm hiring for new people, and obviously get people to apply there. So if you haven't done that, set up those pages. It doesn't have to be a business page. You can also use your personal pages as you had just seen. So take advantage of it. If you've got a good network around you, which I'm sure you do, a lot of you maybe have territory managers, district sales leaders, market leaders, whatever it may be. I'm sure they'd be willing to share those posts too as well to further your reach. But it's just the hardest thing to do is ask people to help you out in that sense. And if the hardest thing they have to do in a day is share your Facebook post, then their life's pretty good. And I'm sure they'd be happy to oblige and do it for you. But yeah, so that's what it looks like to create a job. Again, I'm the one creating it. I'm using the artificial intelligence that's in the platform. Trevor and the team there do help me out a ton because they're just better than I am when it comes to creating job ads. So I just live with that reality. Like, create job ads. I advise a lot of people on making tweaks to their job ads, which is great because I've learned a lot of things from our teams. But in terms of like creating one to be posted, I trust Trevor and them more than myself because it's what they do and they're really good at it. So I'm good at it. They're just better than me because they do it every day. So if you need help with that, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help. So once the job ads get posted, again, we receive hundreds and hundreds of applications. So I do customize my stages on the left-hand screen. For some of you, it's going to look a little bit different than what your screen looks like. And if you're looking to take advantage of the custom stages, it is here in the marketplace. So it's the availability for you to be able to custom this left side. So I have a couple of different steps that are built in. Of course, the assessment is people who have yet to complete the assessment. The assessment complete is going to be those individuals that have already completed it and that are waiting for the next step. So once they've completed this, our team is then going to communicate with them to then move them into the next step, which is going to be the video interview complete. Once they've completed the video interview, that's when they get sent to me. And I get an email notification that someone has completed the video interview. Once I've done that, I review the assessments, their resume, and their video interview. And I look at all of them in entirety. I probably weigh the most on the video interview at that point. I do look at the assessment very religiously. And then, of course, I do take a peek at the resume as well, just to see if there's any red flags in there, like job hopping or a large absence since the last time that they worked, or make grammatical errors and things of that nature. But again, when I get the candidate sent to me, I look at their video interview, their assessments, and their resume. I'm paying most attention towards the video interview because that's where I see them. I see them and I hear them. So I am listening to their tone, excuse me, to their tone of voice. I'm seeing how they carry themselves and how they communicate. Are they confident? Does their voice sound sharp? All these different things that, will help in a sales position with us, right? Because you're selling a software remotely. Nobody wants another software. They want a solution. So are you able to articulate what you're trying to say in a very easy fashion, or is it complicated and kind of jumbled? All these different things. But again, I'm getting off on tangents, but back to the point here. Once they complete the video interview, they get sent to me. I review all that information. If I don't like their personality result, I don't like the video interview, or I don't like their resume, I send them a rejection letter. Every single candidate receives a rejection from IdealTraits if we're no longer considering them. I think that that's the right thing to do. It is very easy to do through the IdealTraits platform. But again, I think it is the right thing to do. I think that they should know that I'm no longer considering them for the role. This also, guys, significantly cuts down on the amount of people calling Ideal Traits asking about a status of their application. So you might get this at your business. We get it a whole lot. People will call, be like, hey, what's the status of my application? We do have some that still call, even though we did send them a rejection, but it does significantly cut down on it. And I mean, it just takes a lot of time when people are calling or reaching out in that sense, right? So if you communicate with them, then they will be on the same page as you. That's what it's all about. So, um, unqualified, if I don't like their resume, if I don't like their assessment, I don't like their video interview, I send them a rejection. If I like it, I send them an email directly through the Ideal Traits. If I'm interested in them after the video interview, I send them an email. And let me see if I can show you guys what this looks like here. Pause for my, let me show you guys here what my email template looks like here. Interview request. So this is what the email looks like. So it says, hey, Robert, hope all is well. After reviewing your resume, assessment result, and video interview, I would like to chat with you more. Please use the link below to schedule a date and time that works best for you. My Calendly link. So I have a Calendly link set up for scheduling interviews. You can integrate your Calendly with your Ideal Traits account. If you have that, it's a great thing. And then, of course, I ask them if they have any questions or issues, kind of let me know, right? Usually they schedule and they take it upon themselves to take that action to schedule and get on my calendar. At that point, I see the notification that, hey, Nolan Duda has scheduled an interview. Great. I see it. And then I know when it's at, and I'm prepared to conduct that interview. Now, let's say the interview goes well, okay, let me backtrack. So if I like the video interview, I'm then moving them to remote sales representative interview. Okay. Then if they conduct that interview and they do well and they get through that interview with me, so that first interview is a formal interview with me through Zoom. If they're good there and I push them on to the next step, which is the final interview, they then do a role play interview with our sales representative team lead, who is Corey. Corey then does the role play interview. So I provide them, Corey and I recorded sample or a mock call of what a general Ideal Traits call sounds like with one of our clients. And then we also provide them with what we call as a roadmap. So the roadmap is what we train our new people off of. And the candidate gets both of these things, and we give them at least 24 hours to review the material. I don't like mandatorily schedule the interview 24 hours after. I tell them, I'm giving you 24 hours. So if I'm talking to them on Tuesday, you are not having your interview on Wednesday. It's going to be at least on Thursday, because I've ran into it before where candidates are like, well, you didn't give me enough time to review the material. It's like, you're the one who wanted to be interviewed on Wednesday, right? So nonetheless, I just eliminate that potential hazard. So if I'm talking to them Tuesday, I schedule the interview for Thursday or later. I send them the material, and then I require them to reply to the email to let me know that they have received it. So then they can't also say on Friday, well, Nolan never sent me the stuff. I did send you the stuff. So they reply to me. So then I verify that they have received it. So once they go through the interview with Corey, he records it. He does it. He sends it to me. I review it. We collaborate. We say, what do you think? If the interview goes well, we then schedule a meet the team with the whole sales department. So myself, Corey, all of our other full-time sales representatives are on the interview. It's 30 minutes, and it's strictly 30 minutes. The first 15 minutes is, or first like 5 minutes is introductions. Then we do 15 minutes of them asking our team questions. And then the remaining time, however much time is left, is our team or them asking our team questions. I might have complicated that, but introductions, the candidate asks our team questions, and then our team asks the candidate questions. So those are the 3 steps. It's 30 minutes. And, I do ask for 30 minutes of our current team's time. It's in the effort to make Ideal Traits a better place. We're looking to grow. We're looking for good people. And we want to find sales representatives that fit in our current sales department. So we are very transparent with the feedback that our current employees give on the candidates that are there. I have put together a Google, I guess I can show you guys through this. It's through Google Forms. Sorry, I should have already had this pulled up. Yeah, it's through Google Forms. So it is the Meet the Team. So all they simply do, it's anonymous form. So I don't know who is giving the feedback, but it's one question. Please provide your honest feedback in detail on the respective candidate. So they fill out this form. All of the responses are here in this sheet. And then at that point, I'm able to review it. Corey and I are able to take a look at it, and we're able to make a decision on whether or not we'd like to move forward with that candidate or not. So once they've gone through the meet the team, if everything is good, which usually it is, at that point, then we extend the offer. I send it out directly through IdealTraits. So they go from the final interview section to the offer section. I send them the offer. I give them a call. I tell them congratulations. I walk through a couple of things. And then at that point, I leave them to review it. If they sign it, I'll get an email that they get moved into the hired bucket, which is like, let's go, let's make it happen. But that's sort of how that process works in terms of IdealTraits. So when I'm working through this process, I step in at video interview. So we go from video interview. Then if I like what I see, I move them to sales representative interview. And then if the interview goes well with me, I move them to the final interview with Corey, which is the role play interview. And then if all goes well there, we move them to the meet the team, which is then the offer stage. And then of course, when they sign the offer, they get moved into hired. If they decide to decline, they get moved into the archive. So that's sort of how this funnel works and how I have it built out to meet the roles that we hire for, how it works within our system. Now, I do, as you can see here, I'll pull up Nate's profile. Nate's one of our current sales reps. He's fantastic, but again, it's going to be framed the same way you guys have it, right? So I have all the information for Nate here. I do use the star rating system as well. So 2 stars if I like their video interview, assessment and resume, 3 stars if they do a good interview with me, 4 stars if they have a good role play interview with Corey, and then 5 stars if everything goes well through meet the team and we extend an offer to them. So as you can tell with Nathan, flying colors, passed and all of these different things. Now, when I'm going through this process, as I mentioned again, when we posted the job ad, we had 700 applicants apply nearly. So I don't have time and our team doesn't have time to go through 700 people. So again, the perspective on this could be different, but if you don't complete the assessment, you don't move forward in the process. If you have to do the assessment. The caveat here, guys, is that our team is calling, emailing, and texting the candidates as soon as they apply to get them to complete the assessment. So it's a little bit more increased there because if you're not completing the assessment, when my team is calling, emailing, and texting you, then yeah, you're not going to move forward in the process. So once you do complete the assessment, the team is then going to call, email, and text you to get you to do the video interview. Okay. If you do the assessment, but you don't do the video interview, then you also get dismissed. You have to complete the process. We're asking you to follow directions and do the next step. And again, we got 700 people to go through. So go through the process. But so if they don't respond or they're inactive as any part of that, whether they're not completing the assessment or they're not completing the video interview, they get dismissed. Now, for candidates, every single candidate that completes the assessment and completes the video interview gets sent to me. But not every personality is a good fit for a sales position at IdealTraits. For instance, I wouldn't hire a nurturer for our sales position because it is a very heavily outbound sales role. A lot of cold calling, a lot of activity that you need to be doing, and a lot of independent work to where you need to build your pipeline of candidate or of leads and of deals that you're looking to generate. So again, through that, I'm looking for individuals with high motivation and drive, similar to Nathan. So the 4 personalities that I probably pay most attention to are the sales leader, the persistent, the closer, and the salesperson. Those are the 4 that I am looking for that are like, okay, you've got my attention now. I do look at some networkers. I do look at some competitors but I first look to what their motivation and drive is. If it's not high, I dismiss them. But again, I try, it's very hard for me to get away from hiring those 4. I've just hired enough people to see the ones that work out, the ones that don't. I love a persistent, obviously, as we've talked about. I believe it's the best sales personality, but I do believe that they struggle a little bit with stepping outside of their shell and being as personable as they need to be in order to sort of entertain and keep people interested, right? So a sales leader, you can never go wrong, in my opinion. Not all sales leaders are the same, but it's a really good personality to target if you have a heavily outbound role. Closers are great. I have some outstanding closers on my team, but shoot, I've hired good closers, I've hired bad ones. Like it's the same thing. So making sure that you pay attention during the interviews, that you go through this process, and you make sure that you protect yourself because that's what you need to do. And then the video interview, I think I have Nathan saved. Yeah. So I do have them go through 5 questions as part of the video interview. The first question is tell us about yourself. The second question is what do you consider to be your strength and why? The third question is what do you consider to be your weakness and why? The fourth question is what are you looking for out of your next opportunity? I want to see if what they're looking for aligns with what I'm looking for because I want somebody who's hungry, who wants to grow, who's ambitious, who wants to move up, all of these different things. So I want to make sure that that translates. And then my fifth question is just what motivates you, right? So I want to see a little bit of creativity here. If someone was to just be like, yeah, I'm motivated by money and it ends there, I'd be like, all right, like, come on, like, tell me a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more about yourself and kind of what you're looking for. As you can see here, Nathan talks about his entrepreneurial spirits and a couple of other different things as a part of this, which is, again, something that is attractive. When I see this question asked, that's really what I'm looking to hear when I go through this. Problem solving, I don't necessarily have like a set problem solving. If you're below 8, I'm probably a little concerned. But usually most of the candidates that we consider that have worked their way through the process are usually 9 and above, which is great. And then the short answer, we just use the standard short answer questions. I read through these. This is my favorite question because this is one I probably pay most attention to because a lot of people will talk about how they don't like cold calling or they don't like talking to difficult clients. And this is a job that, oftentimes can entail that. So at that point, I would probably, if I think that they're a great candidate, I'd probably have a conversation with them about it. If I feel as if I'm on the fence about them, it would probably be something that would disqualify them. But again, this gives you a little bit of insight into how we use it. If you don't complete the assessment, you're dismissed. If you don't complete the video interview, you're dismissed. But again, keep in mind, the caveat is our team is calling, emailing, and texting them, right? So our Ideal Traits is able to partake in the virtual hiring assistant program. If you feel as if you don't have the capacity to do all of these different things, you can check out a couple of different things. So I have created some workflow examples that are here. Being in virtual hiring assistant, fortunately, I do not have to use the workflows, but one that I've created here to sort of just paint an idea is when the assessment is complete and the personality result includes closer, persistent, sales leader, or salesperson, the system is then going to wait 30 minutes. And then the system is then going to send an invitation to the candidate to complete the video interview for the remote sales representative role. So if you don't want to do virtual hiring assistant, but you still want to make your process more automated, the automated workflows is a great way to do that. If you're looking to build out more than one workflow and you haven't already, I would upgrade your subscription. It's worth every penny. But so is virtual hiring assistant because then you can just go a little bit more hands off with it, right? So again, that's how the Ideal Traits process works when it goes through, obviously, Ideal Traits. Now, once they get to hired, they then move into more of a situation with me to where I'm the one who's regularly communicating with them and I'm the one who's working through the process. So I'll sort of unshare the screen here. And if you guys do have questions, just let me know. I do see that there are a couple that have popped up into here too as well. So for Mason, Nelly, and Darwin, those are the 3 that I have now. When they accepted their offer letters at all at different times, at all different points. So at that point, I was like, okay, what's the universal date that I can do? I did June 2nd, first Monday of the month. We'll go through this process. We'll get them all started at this time. Now, once I have them all set and ready to go, there was about 3 weeks of time between when the last one accepted their offer letter and to when when they all started. So what I did is each week I sent them an email and I kept constant communication with them. I sent them the success spotlights and I was like, hey, take a look at some of these. I sent them the assessment workshops, take a look at some of these. And it was preparing them from the first day. So they have a little bit of baseline of what Ideal Traits does, some of our clients, and sort of the feedback that we have gotten from them too as well. So that's a good thing to do. I do recommend keeping in close communication with them. Do not let them just sit for 3 weeks because then they're just probably not going to show up on their first day. That's the last thing that I would want to have happen. So I keep constant communication with them and make sure that they feel informed and they know that they are comfortable with their first spot of starting on that set day. In this instance would be June 2nd. So once they get started, I plan everything out ahead of time. So I give myself obviously an ample amount of time to be able to put everything together for them. So I do create a schedule for them too as well. And this is what their schedule looks like. So as I go through this process, I had it built out week 1, week 2, and hopefully after week 2, we then move off of this Google sheet and onto their Google Calendar. Because we're fully immersed now in the Google workspace. So with this, you'll see a couple of different things that are on here. So when they first start their first day, is going to be in the morning. It's going to be meeting with Ashley, who's our business process administrator. She's going to go through the handbook and she's going to talk expectations. And then at Ideal Traits, we do have through our HR system, Rippling, we have a mandatory sexual harassment training that every employee has to complete. So they start that on day one. And then in the afternoon, they come with me. So Ideal Traits training is where they meet with me. And there's a couple of different things on here. So like you see like Shadow Reg, Shadow Monica, Shadow Keegan. These are individuals that work at Ideal Traits. So in the first week, I want the new employees to get a full immersive experience into what Ideal Traits is across every department. So you'll see Monica, she works in support. Keegan, he works in support. Corey, he's in sales. Tracy, she's in support. Jasmine is product. Trevor in support. Kelly is marketing. Kelly is retention. Rayon is sales. Faith is virtual hiring assistant or hiring services. So I have them meeting with all different departments to understand how Ideal Traits works as a whole. That's what I want them to see. For some of you, this may be applicable. It may not be. But the second half of the day, they're most likely meeting with me, right? So on any given day, I'm spending an hour to 3 hours with our new hires in the first week. Week 2, we change things up a little bit, where they're doing a little bit less shadowing and more training with me, but they're also getting experience on the phone. I want them to start getting their feet wet and getting comfortable with making calls. Because again, some of these people we hire have no experience and others have a lot. But selling Ideal Traits is different than selling a lot of different things. So getting used to how it operates on the phone and what they need to do to be successful is a really good way to get them introduced. And as you can see, for week 3, we got off the Google Sheet and moved on to the Google Calendar because we're here in week 3. So again, this is the schedule I put together for them. They have this at their disposal. Everyone at the organization has it, so they know where they're supposed to be. Our employees know where they're supposed to be shadowing or what they're supposed to be doing, but everybody knows what the expectation is. Everybody has it, and they can go in here and they can take a look at this at any point and take a look at what they're going to be doing next or what they should be doing now. So this is just a very easy way for me to put everything on a schedule to where I can move things around if I need to, right? So Google Sheets might work for you. It might not. If you want this template, I can send it to you. I created it. It took me just a little bit of time. So if you want it, I can have you have it and I can send it to you, but nothing that's too overly complex there too as well. But all right. So once we get them started, that's the training. That's what it looks like. Our goal is to have them fully up and running within 30 days. That's what I'm looking to do. So the first week is your introduction to Ideal Traits. Your second week is taking the information you've learned on Ideal Traits in the insurance industry and putting it into words. We're going to practice your pitch for the next 3 weeks. So it's going to take 4 weeks in total. You're going to be calling from week 2 to week 4, and you're going to be training with me on your pitch from week 2 to week 4. And then of course you're going to do that shadowing in weeks 1 and 2. So it's a set schedule, right? So we have everything planned out and it's meant that way by design, right? So it's meant to be super organized. I want to make it easy for them to know where they need to be and to not have any questions and to give them that security to where it's like, what am I supposed to do next? I feel as if things are kind of all over the place. I never kind of want to have them having that interpretation. So that's why it's built out this way. And then obviously after 30 days, our hope is to have them commissionable. And then there's no longer training. Then they have they work independently for about 6 to 7 hours a day. At Ideal Traits, we do regular role play training. So Monday through Friday in the morning, we do role play training for 30 minutes. And then we do have a set role play every Wednesday from 4 to 5. We do a company meeting from 8:30 to 9, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's the whole company. And then we do a checkout at the end of each day from 5 to 5:15. Again, this is just because we have a fully remote staff. So that gives you some insight there. But let me see here. So Jesse, can we integrate with more than one LinkedIn page? Yes, you can. If you're on the job sharing section, you can post it to multiple different pages. You just have to make sure you log out and then log back into the pages that you want to post it to. And then also in the marketplace, Jesse, you can connect your LinkedIn business page to your Ideal Traits account. So then your Ideal Traits job shows up on LinkedIn's job board. Okay. So if you haven't integrated that yet or connected those two, I would absolutely do that. Can you integrate with Simply Book Calendar? I don't think so, Catalina. There might be something that we're able to do for you. I know that our one calendar integration is Calendly, but there might be able to be some sort of webhook or something that we'd be able to do for Simply Book. So reach out to us. Be happy to help you out with that. Be able to go from there. Mary, What do you think about a 68 for motivation and drive, persistent, 50 self-perception, 68 how others see them? Yeah, I would have to know the other scores, Mary. So if you want to send me an email with a screenshot of the result as a whole, feel free to let me know. Or just send that over. My email is just nolan@idealtraits.com. I'd be happy to take a look at it in its entirety. But I think the 68 for motivation is good. The persistents are very motivated individuals, but they're also very independent. So make sure that you have them in a position that has a little bit of independence mixed with some self accountability, but then you can trust them to do what you need them to do from an outbound perspective. And then Jesse, I did that, but it only lets me add one LinkedIn account. Okay, that's probably for the, are you talking about for the marketplace, Jesse? Then yeah, it'll probably only let you do one if you're connecting a business account. Yeah, through the marketplace. So if you want to share it to your LinkedIn or your Facebook, then what I would do is I would go through the on the job ad. When you go to the sharing, you then can click the share on LinkedIn. If you scroll down, if you want to, Jesse, we can hop on a Zoom at some point this week. And I can show you how to do this really quickly. It shouldn't take long at all. But again, through Ideal Traits, I mean, this is, how the process works for us. So everything that we recommend that you use, we utilize. So the SMS texting, the virtual hiring assistant program, the video interview is so huge. Like I would not be able to go through 700 resumes if it wasn't for the video interviewing. It would be ridiculous because then I would just be scheduling an interview based off of a resume and an assessment. There's no way to consolidate it any better. So if you haven't taken us up on these tools yet, please do. If you want to try them or any one specific thing, reach out. I'd be happy to get you set up so that you can try it maybe for a little bit before purchasing it, but you're going to have to reach out to me directly to be able to make that happen. So again, my email is nolan@idealtraits.com. I know that I ran a little bit long here. I can be rather long-winded, but as I mentioned at the very beginning, through this, 60 to 90 day initiative, we had received over 700 applications. I'd hired 3 full-time sales representatives and 1 intern. Mason, of course, came to us through a connection with a college. The other 3 came through us through the job boards and through social media. And on June 2nd, I had 4 people. On June 3rd, I had 3, right? So put that contingency plan in place. Don't put yourself in a position of vulnerability because hiring is already hard enough. I understand it as hiring for Ideal Traits. You understand it as hiring for your business. It is the hardest thing that we have to do. And it is so annoying, right? But I promise with finding the right people, it can be so rewarding. And throughout the time of me handling hiring, there's been nothing more rewarding than being able to help good people become successful with Ideal Traits and beyond. So I'm happy to help you any way that I can. I'm here, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, and sometimes maybe a little bit beyond that too as well. But anywhere that I can help you, please let me know. Keep an eye out for our assessment workshop. The one for July is on July 1st, which is the first Tuesday, I believe is what it is. And then we'll come back with Success Spotlight for July. We have Allstate agent Mike Goppinger joining us. So we'll get back on schedule with having a guest and an insurance agent go through their hiring process. But again, happy to help all of you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. Hopefully I was able to provide 1 or 2 things at the very least that you can take away and begin implementing into your process. And if it's just solely simply that you want to start seeing better results than your account, that's why people like me have a job and Ideal Traits. So please take advantage of the resources and the people that we have. If you're struggling with your account, reach out because I guarantee that we can help you. So thank you again, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you